This summer, we're looking back at what was a very big news year. Sure, there was COVID, but there was so much more. Peter Stefanovic has told you about it at the start of every day. And, well, looks just as fresh as if he didn't do any of it. No early wake-ups. Great man, lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you too, but I'm absolutely exhausted. What a year it's been.
It's like that. What has dominated for you? What is the stuff that just you felt was just constant?
In terms of big picture stuff, it's got to be COVID. It was everywhere. It was in everything. It was here in Australia, obviously. It's been all around the world. It involved every single person, and there's not many stories that have ever happened that have actually done that, you know. And so it's got to be COVID as the big, broad news story that touched so many lives and touched so many industries and touched so many businesses. And you know, it's been a devastating year. I think a lot of people last year had thought, right, the worst of it is behind us now. Well, 2021 came in with a big whack, and it was even worse.
Well, remember, everyone's going at New Year's Eve, thank God 2020's behind. Wait till 2021
bring it on.
in.
Yeah, and then it only lasted a couple of days, and then it was like, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be much better. And sure enough, it wasn't.
Now, obviously, Biden becoming president and how he has fared. Look, we all know I'm a Trump guy, so I'll mark poorly, but how do you think he's gone?
Not well. And there's a few different factors where you can assess that. First of all, the economy. Inflation, worst it's been in more than 30 years now. And some may argue that it's been getting to this point and it's been driven by the pandemic too, and that's true to a certain extent. But the economy's not doing well. Afghanistan. The exit from Afghanistan was on Joe Biden's watch. It was a shambles, and that may well define his presidency too, by the way. Those pictures of the final days of the 20-year war of people trying to get on those planes. They're getting into the landing gear. That shows how desperate people were in Afghanistan, and in particularly in Kabul. Some of them even fell from the sky. I mean, those sorts of pictures are going to be played forever.
Absolutely. I mean, Biden had always said, and he even tried it when he was vice president, get out of Afghanistan. Whatever we were here for, we can't achieve now, right? So it was always clear that he was on his way out. Trump was saying he was on his way out. But how he decided to go is what he cannot pretend is anyone else's problem. I don't understand how, when you've decided to pull the pin, that you aren't throwing missiles into, that you don't get all of your equipment, take it into Bagram, and then get everyone away from it and just pound it all to dust. Instead, they just literally left the keys in the Humvees, and even China now trying to buy its way back into building Afghanistan, apparently might end up with control of Bagram Airport.
Well, and what sort of hole or vacuum will this create now? ISIS is going to be back. Al-Qaeda. It's going to be back and is back. So this is a problem that is only going to continue, and this is just the disaster of Afghanistan. And you know, you feel for our servicemen and women who fought in Afghanistan, and from other countries too, it must be said. But when it's all said and done, you have to ask the question, what was it all for?
Yeah. What was your best day on air this year? What did you enjoy talking about, be it a tough one or a fun one?
Well, let's just for some light relief, given the size of the year and how much death and devastation there was, I'm going to think of something uplifting, and it was nice to be able to report on the Olympics.
Yeah, of course.
In the middle of the year.
Yes.
It gave us all a break.
Yep.
And we did so well in Japan. And I think it was our best Olympics ever. And it was just a nice break because we were all stuck in the mundane. Remember, not all of us. Some states were luckier than others. But for most of us, we were all stuck in lockdown, and there was just nothing happening. And then all of a sudden, our Olympians came in and showed the world how good they are. And it was just great to be able to report on on a nice story.
Are you the type of person who becomes, once every 4 year expert on the pommel horse? Or something like I can see why they gave him a 6.
All of that, yeah. And you're just sort of being critical of someone who hasn't smashed a PB while I'm sitting on the couch chowing down my Doritos, you know what I mean? Oh, you're hopeless.
Yeah, forgive me, I've forgotten her name. But remember the pole vaulter or high jumper who was writing the diary all the way through? I always love sort of whenever you see those little details of just, for most people, they never have to achieve one moment once every 4 years. Yeah. And of course, these guys had it delayed by 12 months. Years, So having to peak a year after meant it was even stranger.
Yeah, absolutely. And I felt so sorry for Japan too, because it was always going to put on a great show. If there was no pandemic, it would have been a great Olympics. And Japan's a great country with great people. And I just felt that they drew the short straw, unfortunately, and it almost didn't go ahead, the game. So I'm glad they did from that point of view. But in the end, it was a great games, and Japan did as best as they could.
Well, you think that was fun to cover. Imagine your home state 2032 breakfast from Brisbane and their Olympic Games.
Well, I might still be here looking over at your man cave
100% you'll still be here. Palaszczuk will still be there. Nothing will change, mate. There'll be the permanent government.
I can't wait.
Congrats on this year. Can't wait to see what you've got in store for us next year.
Same to you.
Thank you, Greg.